I mean, he probably
does do the Dougie. Don't get me wrong. I'm not doubting that John Wall is not capable of doing the Dougie. I'm saying that the John Wall dance is different than the Dougie.
It's very similar, though.
An extension of the hand, right? Apparently.
Kind of is.
From a white person's perspective, we'll say yes.
Hello and welcome to another episode of Talkin Athletics with MTJ. I'm your host, Mike Papa. Joseph, Tom, as always, joining me today. Just three guys in a basement talking about sports. Mm-hmm. Sometimes we think each other's wrong. Sometimes we think each other's right. Let us know in the comments what you think. Make sure you like and also subscribe and let everybody know kind of what's going on. Right now, what's going on in the NBA is the playoffs. Just started. First round.
Baby.
Got rid of the play-in. Won't even talk about it. Some people love it. Some people hate it. Very interesting play-in this season. But nonetheless, regular season's getting started. Joe's really the only one out of all of us. I guess are you still claiming Heat fandom for this year?
No. There's a completely different evaluation. Yeah. Listen, each year you have to come in with a different slate. You've got to look through the NBA lens to see exactly what they're going to do.
We'll give Tom his chance to get into it because he's got something brewing.
And he was the one that was right last year.
And he was right last year, so we have to.
He's the expert.
To give him his stage when he asks for it. But let's set it for him. Let's set the table so he can enjoy his meal. As I said, the season or playoffs just started. We're going to go through our bracketology of the NBA. But before we get into that, before we start picking and choosing and saying who's going to advance, who's going to get eliminated, I do want to give Tom the floor because he's got one brewing that he wants to kind of spew at us.
Well, I'll go through it one by one with you guys, but okay. I have bad news for playoff Jimmy this year, and I'll start us off
there.
That's
if we see him,
and that's where it doesn't matter. The NBA has been pushing the Boston Celtics. I don't care about what the strategies are. That's how I'm making my picks here. You guys are more NBA guys that watch the games there. I'm just looking at what's going to be more profitable for the NBA and what's the most profitable situation. And it worked last year for me. So I'm going to try it again this year. And I think I've got a decent strategy here, but it does lead with the Heat going down in round one to the Celtics there. I imagine that you guys probably have similar picks there in that round one matchup.
Yeah, it's hard not to because, I mean, we've all been waiting all year long for playoff Jimmy, and when playoff Jimmy is on the table, it's a completely different circumstance. He's not. It's going to be hard for in my opinion, for the Heat to get through, especially if Tyler Hero is supposed to be your number one. It's going to take a little bit for him to develop into that type of guy if he develops into him at all. But without Jimmy, I don't think there's a shot in hell that you're taking most of these playoff teams down in a series of seven, let alone the Boston Celtics. What do you... Obviously,
yeah, I'm going with the Celtics as well.
Just taking the Heat.
They
what is the storyline?
Actually, we're recording. They actually already won the first game today as we're playing, so they're already up 1-0.
Handedly too.
Yeah, Celtics played. It was funny because on the way here, I was listening to ESPN radio, and Tatum fell, and they were like, "Oh my God, it's Tatum hurt like that." And then all of a sudden, ESPN radio was complaining, saying why do they have their starters and their stars in the last 2 minutes of the game? What's going on here? And they're like, "Oh, it's probably because they didn't want to blow the lead," kind of deal like that. But actually, when I was at home watching the TV, Doris Berg actually made a very good
She's
point.
So smart, dude.
She said,
one of my favorites.
And I actually, for once, I normally kind of agree with Tom or side with Tom on this, but she made a very good point. The Celtics, starters, haven't played in the last 10 days, so they kind of got to get used to playing heavy minutes again. So that's why, even though they were just going through the motions there at the end of the game, why the starters and the stars were in there to get them back to used to playing 34. To 30 to 34 minutes a game.
I don't even see the Heat taking a game.
Yeah, I kind of
agree
with that.
one in Miami, maybe
a gentleman's
game
sweep
3 or 4. Yeah. But I don't see them splashing anything home, really. Pretty simple one for the 1-8 seed in the Eastern Conference. Move to the 4-5. Just keep it going down the list.
Yep, that's
Cleveland and Orlando. This one is a lot more exciting.
Yes.
As we saw yesterday, Cleveland already has a 1-0 lead, and it was a pretty handed win. It was 14-point, 97-83 win over the Magic.
Yeah, Tom, does that change anything for you?
No, it doesn't. It doesn't. The NBA's been pushing Pablo. Pablo has been a face, and they've been really trying to make something of the organization down in Orlando. A second-round appearance, it's going to do a lot more than it will for the Magic in Orlando than it will for the Cleveland Cavaliers. Orlando in 6th.
I don't know if it would, though.
That's where. Who's the big face in Cleveland? Like, who's the
Donovan-
young
Donovan Mitchell,
Mitchell.
That's
who
where-
they've
but
already
Donovan
said
Mitchell,
he's
he's
not
been
gonna
a face.
re-sign.
He's
yeah.
been a
but
face.
you
Like,
got
it's
Evan
nothing.
Mobley. You
Good
got.
point.
I mean, the Cleveland's a young team.
But
Yeah.
but making
Well, so is the
Donovan
Magic,
Mitchell a
obviously.
hero in Cleveland is going to do nothing long term for the NBA. It doesn't do anything for the Cavs. It doesn't do anything for Donovan Mitchell for his fandom in Cleveland. Whereas if you do something with Pablo and get a little momentum going there, he's going to be there a little bit longer than obviously Mitchell, who's not coming back. So therefore, Orlando.
Let this man
Listen,
cook.
Don't worry.
Let him cook.
That's not an important
I mean,
pick because they're running into the Celtics next round, so it doesn't matter there.
I can't call you a buffoon until you're a buffoon.
Listen, you
Okay,
guys, you
know
just
what
called
I
me a
mean?
buffoon last year.
Yeah,
You know
that's what I'm
you did.
saying.
So, you know what? Let
You
me
haven't
cook
been a
here. Let me
buffoon
cook.
yet, so I'm not gonna make.
And it's the 4-5
series.
series, so I do expect it to come
Yeah.
to a 6-7 just because I don't see a lot of the other series going to a Game 6 or Game 7, and there's got to be something on TV for the NBA to get those ratings.
I hope so.
Coming down to money-wise, I see this game being a game that does go, a series that goes to that 6-7 game area. Make sure that they've got one or two series that are going to go that distance for the TV purposes there.
Okay, I think Cleveland takes it in 6.
Yep.
I don't hate that. I don't hate it because, I mean, it doesn't matter next round. You got Boston.
And plus,
coming up.
this round is such a toss-up anyways.
So true. I mean, you're running into Boston next round, so best of luck.
I agree as well with Mikey going with Cleveland. Although instead of 6, I'll just take 7. I'll say Game 7.
I think it's gonna go all the way.
Yeah.
See, I think if it goes all the way, you might see Orlando squeak it.
Well, I think
Game 7 at home's tough. So I
Because-
think they got to get it done in 6.
But, well, and the reason I say that is because I think Cleveland is the better team. If Orlando can push it to 7, that's showing that not only are you good enough, but you also got the confidence, and then a young team to go to 7 is impressive enough. I think they got a good chance.
It's fair enough. It's more of a storyline writing for the NBA to get behind. You know what? You're speaking my language now, Mike. Maybe Orlando in 7.
But I do think Cleveland. I like that for you. I think Cleveland in 6. So
and I'm going with
I can
Cleveland in
respect
7.
it,
yeah.
Simply my reasoning is, like we've kind of just mentioned, there's
Go to
already
7. I'm on your side though.
a
love
lot
it.
of
I love
rumors that Donovan Mitchell is probably going to go play for like New York or someone like
You
next
think he'll
year.
leave?
Ooh.
I've been seeing a lot of rumors saying that
know,
there's
that's
like
so
no
young,
chance
though.
he's like coming back.
Well, you do.
How do
Gotta,
him and Brunson work together in New
I
York?
think that would work pretty well.
Who moves to 2? They're both
Either.
on the ball people, right?
I mean, Brunson's been it too. He was.
Yeah,
I mean,
with Luka.
Granted,
I don't watch.
He was better. He's been better as a 1 with the Knicks, but
That's
I mean,
right. I
you
just see
could-
a lot of his highlights are him, moving the ball in the lane, driving, kind of being.
Well, here's the thing: Luka and Kyrie, both ball
Fair.
dominant players. They've been.
Fair.
Kyrie's having one of
Yeah.
the best years of his career in the last 5 or 6 years.
That's
at the
fair.
very least.
But yeah, even though it kind of then sounds like that I should side with Tom with the Magic if it goes 7, I think Donovan Mitchell will still kind of be like, okay, I know I'm leaving, but I do owe it to the city to play my butt off here and win Game 7 for them, and again increase my value in free agency, because if they lose in Game 7, everyone's just gonna be like, well, Donovan Mitchell didn't have the his head in the game, because he's been saying, or they're not saying, but there's been a lot of rumors that he's just going to go to New York or a different team. What kind of leadership is that, where it would be like, no, it's Game 7. I do want to leave this town and city, but I'm going to play my hardest and up my free agent value.
That's fair. Moving on to Milwaukee and Indiana, a little Midwest action. I think Milwaukee will win,
Wrong.
but I also thought the roster was good enough where bringing in Doc Rivers wouldn't matter that much to them getting worse, but they're way worse than I expected, which makes me hate Doc Rivers even more. I don't hate him. He's probably a really nice guy, but he's not good at coaching NBA basketball.
I tell you, 2008 NBA champions are the best NBA champions of all time, 'cause the Celtics had Doc Rivers as
Yeah,
their
right.
head coach.
Right? Very true.
Oy.
So I'm taking Milwaukee in 5, I would say.
I too am going with Milwaukee. However, Tom did have very good points when
You
he
don't
was
even have
talking
to
to
sway
me.
me. I
Our
believe
pre-show rundown here, I've got Indiana.
Yeah.
Tyrese Halliburton,
Mm-hmm.
this is a guy that the NBA, I feel like it's really been pushing the face of. They won the in-season tournament. They've shown they can, get down and play with Milwaukee
Yeah, very
when
good.
it comes down in time to do so.
Plus,
I really-
Tyrese Halliburton was just named the 12th player of Team USA.
That's right. I really like Indiana winning in this one in 6 or 7 as well, and Indiana being a big push coming out of this conference here.
That's fair.
For the Celtics' sake, I'm going with the Bucks because I know quite a while, like the last few weeks, you've been saying like what are the teams that I'm afraid of, and I kept saying the Pacers as well as the Heat. Obviously, that was before Jimmy Butler got injured. Yeah. But as a Celtic fan, I don't want to.
I'm more
see
afraid of the Pacers, but they shouldn't win
because they just score so many points.
And my bigger point of this was talking earlier. I think the Bucks as the dynasty that they were trying to build looks like it's on its way out rather than being reestablished.
And obviously, you haven't, like you said, you don't really watch a lot of the games. Mm-hmm. The Pacers are a much younger team than the
younger
Bucks.
Legs
so if all suddenly it's starting to go 6 or 7, and then Doc Rivers' narrative of oh crap, I've blown another series, and the Pacers are younger and hungrier, I can kind of see. Yeah. But also, my big X factor is obviously Giannis.
Yeah, that's the thing. Yeah, they should win. They got Giannis and Dame. They should win, but I don't know, man. New York and Philadelphia, the 2 and the 7 seeds. If you told me at the beginning of the year that Philadelphia was going to be the 7th seed and the Knicks were going to be the 2nd, I would have told you were absolutely high.
Yeah, I was going to say, I think you misspoke, right? You clearly misspoke.
Especially with losing Julius Randle for the entire year, they moved up.
Yes.
They went from a 5 when they lost Julius Randle to finishing the season as a 2, so that's really impressive. I think playoff basketball is different. I don't think Brunson can do as much as he's been able to do in the regular season. I think just too much weight on the shoulders at some point. He's just going to run out of gas. At
some point?
Is that
point
this round, though?
I don't know.
And I think the bigger question mark with this series is Joel going to be able to play even 4 games, let alone 5 or 6?
Because he got banged up
That's
last
where
game.
that dunk was sick.
Yeah.
But was it worth the damage that he did to his knee? Probably
and they were
not for the
shots,
2 points.
He's got blood coming out of his knee.
Yeah, no, I don't see him being able to last in the series. Yeah. That's my biggest issue, and I think I got New York winning this round.
I think right now you're watching.
So you're going Knicks.
Brunson take on who is much. You're seeing Brunson take on Maxey in half of Embiid. And I think Brunson's just so much better than Maxey right now, which nothing wrong with Maxey. He's incredible, and he might even be most improved player this year. There's a good chance.
Right.
But Brunson's just better than half of Embiid and Maxey, in my opinion. I think they'll take it in 5, or if Embiid gets hurt, 4. Like, hurt, because obviously he finished last night's game, but they still lost.
I can't believe he came back. Just the way he was hobbling right after it happened, I was so surprised that he re-entered the game. So that says a lot about what he's going to be, giving for the rest of the series, but I just don't know how much there is left to give that the body's got left in it. Which is crazy to say about a guy that's
so you see
not that old.
New York, right?
Yeah, I got New York this round.
You got a game?
5.
Yeah, I think so too.
I'll take the 76ers getting 1 at home, but then New York takes care of business.
I think Joel's going to go off 1 game. He'll probably drop a 50 at some point in this series.
And be sore as hell the next morning and not be able to play the same
and
rest of the
close out losing game probably.
Do I want to pick the Knicks?
I don't hate that. They go up 3-0 and then the Sixers take 1 to not get swept, and
gosh,
I don't hate that.
It's tough in my head because, like you said, Randall's out for the Knicks, and if Embiid was healthy, my goodness, he
should eat.
Feasting.
He still should be feasting,
but he's banged up.
Yeah,
I mean that's what I'm really. That's a good point. Oh man, you trying to convince me to take the Sixers?
No.
You
want the Sixers.
Yeah, that's right. You're really trying to convince yourself to take the Sixers. Yeah. You'd love to see them in the finals.
Oh God.
Imagine how banged up Joel would be if they find their way into the finals against this. He'd be a shell of a man.
You know what? I'm going to pick the Sixers. I'll pick the Sixers.
Oh, wow.
I'll be that guy. Just to be different
Just talk it into existence.
I'll go to the Sixers. I know they're down 0-1 right now, but, I mean, it's not over until you lose your first home game, right?
Fair. That's fair. That's very true. All right, going to the Western Conference, OKC in New Orleans. I don't think this one's a walk in the park. I think OKC is going to absolutely walk away with it. Now, granted, I can't remember what the score was yesterday.
Not if you ask, who was it? Who was it that had the quote?
Or did they play today? They played today, right? Yeah, I think they played today.
Who was it that had the quote about betting? He used to play on the
they played today.
Lakers.
9:30.
He's now with the Pelicans. Larry Nance.
Oh, Nance? Yeah.
Yeah, Nance.
Not betting.
I'd bet on the Pels, But I'd like to make it clear, I'm not,
Not
betting.
betting.
I do not have a betting app. I am not registered with any better.
Even goes, I'm not Jonte Porter, too.
no Porter, no Porter. I did think that was funny, but so he's taking the Pels. I am not taking the Pels.
No, I think it's going to be a 4-game sweep.
So we all agree OKC?
Yeah.
I'll take OKC there.
Wow.
All right, moving on. Quick one. That was easy.
Yeah, that was
Clippers and the Dallas Mavericks. Game 1 is playing right now. It's at halftime. The Clippers are up surprisingly 56-30 without Kawhi Leonard. That's scary.
That's surprising.
Yeah, that's scary.
Yeah.
Give me the Mavs. I want them.
All right, Tom wants the Mavs.
I want the Mavs.
I'll give you the Mavs.
I think with the way the NBA is,
In
this
6.
game could
You
be a
wanna get
5-point
specific.
game by the end of it. So
Yeah.
I'm going to still stick with the Mavs. I'm going to go in 6. No, 7. We're going 7.
Am I supposed to be writing that down, or are we just...
No.
No, I'm just saying
Okay.
games.
If we want to look into the games, we can go back and look into them if we're that desperate.
If any
for
of our
'em.
brackets are that similar, then yeah, maybe we will, but I'm not too worried.
Yeah, don't worry. Don't worry. We'll be all right here.
So
in a
you
little
got
bit.
Mavs, I got Mavs. Who you got, Joe?
Man, Luka and
Yeah,
Kyrie's been playing
right,
so well
Right?
this
It's
year.
hard to say no to
Luka's
those
having
two.
an MVP season, and Kyrie's having one of his best since leaving LeBron, in my opinion.
I'm going to
settled it. He
also
seems
go
like
with
a
the
more
Mavs,
content
but I think it's going
individual.
to be closer than we all are probably
I said 7.
thinking. Okay. I would say that, yeah. Yeah, I'm going with Mavs as well. Again, just a younger team because, again, I mean, you look at the Clippers and Paul George has had several injuries throughout his career. You just cannot rely on Kawhi anymore. And Russell Westbrook was being passed around like a hot potato last year, and
Yeah.
he's getting a little bit older. So, again, it's just an older team. But on the flip side, older team,
2 of the 3
kind
guys.
of have experience.
Those 4 guys they have 4
Two-
guys on their team that were considered top 2 players at one point in the league.
Well, I was
Yeah.
gonna say, but 2 of the 3 guys that you just listed also are just known for not being able to show up in the playoffs.
Yes, exactly.
So that's
I'm
where
going Mavs.
I'm taking the Mavs there just because of that reason. It might not be this round, but
The issue on the Clippers have never been. The issue with the Clippers has never been their talent. It's
No.
always having them all on the court at the same time.
Yes, seriously.
All right. Number 3 seed Minnesota is taking on the 6 seed Phoenix Suns. Minnesota, although a 3 seed, spent about 90% of the year as the number 1 seed in the
Yeah.
West. Lost it literally the last game
day,
of the season.
Anthony Edwards, dog.
Yeah. I don't want the Minnesota Timberwolves to be successful because I didn't believe in them. And at some point, Gobert is going to get exposed and they're going to lose to a good team, but I don't think it's going to be the first round. I think it's going to be like a conference finals type of vibe. I think they're going to get outcoached because their team isn't good enough.
So you're going T-Wolves?
But man, if they get Cat back, he'll be really good, and Anthony Edwards is just incredible. I just wish that guy played basketball. If he's been trying to push that he was a better football player than he was basketball, and he's this good at basketball. Yeah, I'm taking Minnesota.
I am also going to Minnesota. As some people know, pay attention to some of our podcasts. Minnesota is my second favorite NBA team, obviously for Kevin Garnett reasons.
Tom's too.
I'll take
Kevin
the
Garnett,
Suns.
friend of the show.
I'll take the Suns. Just to be
Ooh,
different
I like it.
there.
Gonna
I'll
be
take
different.
the Suns
That's
there.
how I felt about the Sixers.
When was,
I
the,
hope you're
when was
right.
the last time Minnesota got to the second round? It's been a minute, hasn't it?
When did KG
I feel like
leave?
it's been a minute.
yeah,
I
like-
think
It's
that
been
was
a
it, right?
yeah, literally like 2000.
It was
2, 3,
7,
4.
So
I don't know.
2007.
Yeah, it's been a minute since they've seen a second round playoff game. And,
I mean, dude,
I don't know if this is the year.
Let's just say this. It's been so long that when they won the play-in tournament,
Oh,
Pat
yeah.
Beverly got on the table.
Oh, I
and
remember
threw
that.
jerseys
Yeah, no, it was
into
like
the
Game
crowd.
7 win, and the whole crowd
And it was the
going nuts.
play-in tournament.
That was to get into the playoffs. I
Yeah.
remember that. That's where
What a
I don't
guy.
see him getting to the second round this year. Phoenix, been there, done that. Experience will take over.
The only thing is, can Phoenix finally just put it all together?
For 4 games, I think they can. 4 out of 7 games, I think they can. That's a 7-game series for me.
This is probably the most interesting one in the first round. Denver, 2 seed, taking on the LA Lakers as a 7 seed. Mr. LeBron James, AD, Rui Hachimura and company.
Yep.
I'll
Denver.
take it. Don't worry. Nuggets in 4, and that is LeBron's farewell to LA.
I think 5.
Nuggets in 4. LeBron.
All right, so we're all taking
out
the
of
Nuggets.
LA.
LeBron's winning you 1.
All right.
It's just annoying because, like, even on paper and
then
like,
the LeBron sweepstakes starts, and I'm so excited.
or the Lakers should be so much better. The what you said though?
The LeBron sweepstakes, it starts early if the
yeah.
NBA gets LeBron out in the first round too. So also another beneficial move for the NBA because then whoever drafts his son is also going to sign LeBron. It's going to be a great move for the NBA. The NBA is going to get a lot of traction here in the upcoming months. I'm excited for it. As a non-NBA fan, I'm excited to see what happens with the NBA drama here in the upcoming months.
I just love seeing your perspective as like a guy that just doesn't watch any of these games.
No, but I said this, though. I said his son was going to go. He was going to be subpar at USC. He was subpar at USC. I said that he was going to declare for the NBA draft.
That's being generous to even call him subpar.
And, I mean,
I will say a lot of people
considering
say
the heart condition, you got to take that into. So that's where I'll give him just
heart
subpar.
Attack at 18.
For what he played later on in the
which the NBA can deal with heart issue players. Like Jeff Green has had major heart issues his whole career.
Yeah, but there's also been like other people who've had their career derailed though.
True.
I feel like you
like
pick a lot more Cam.
It doesn't matter. He's going to be a top 10 pick.
No,
that's the best part about it. It doesn't matter.
Trailblazers starts with an A.
Alonzo.
And then he went to the Nets late in his career. Played with the Spurs. He went to the Trailblazers. He was the Spurs. Trailblazers, like one of their main stars, then went to the Spurs, then ended his career.
Aldridge?
Yes, he had like a heart issue, and that's why he had to retire.
LaMarcus Aldridge.
Yeah, which was weird because then he came out of retirement because there was like, heart issue is fixed, and then it like came back, and then he was like retired again. Yeah, he like, retired twice.
But either way, gonna be great for the NBA to talk about where LeBron's gonna sign, and for him to pretend like he might sign before the draft is just hysterical to me.
I say we do this on a round by round basis.
A round by round basis?
One round per episode. That's fine.
Like we can write all of ours this week and then come back because this would be really hard to try to follow right now with not knowing who had everybody winning.
Okay.
So I say we write our bracket and then we talk about it each week. You cool with that?
That's fair.
And you let your storyline unfold, or you want to get it all on? You
fair.
actually give us what you think is going to happen in the NBA playoffs.
What's going to happen, boys? Okay. I'll let you guys know. Just so you guys got your round one picks out there. You guys blew the bag already in round one because you have Milwaukee, and Indiana's the team that is going to be giving Boston the ride here in the Eastern Conference Finals. That's a 7-game series, and I don't hate Indiana in it. Mm-hmm. And that I think is the big one coming out of there. Denver's coming out of the West. Yeah. And I really think Denver is going to win, regardless.
Back-to-back years.
Yep. And so it's, to me, I think if you match up the Indiana-Boston series and you take that to 7 games, huge numbers. Does huge numbers for the NBA-wise. You're talking ratings. You're talking more money. You're talking the whole 9 yards there.
Who just got drafted to Indiana?
Oh, yeah, that was where we really tied in. Indiana's also just big for the basketball community because this all comes back to Caitlin Clark. This all comes back to Caitlin Clark going to Indiana. So that's why they're getting the first round bump. And then I really don't think New York can sustain what they've got against the young Indiana team, who I feel like can contain Brunson.
Yeah,
and that's the one team that I
think they're just going to outscore them because
they can run with it.
I think
you know what I mean.
Brunson's been contained before, though.
So I do like.
I know he's
Indiana
gotten better.
isn't like a defensive.
So
the way he was saying contained, like they're not really a defensive team. They just outscore people.
Indiana, Denver, final. Denver wins that in 6.
Wait, you think Indiana is beating the Celtics?
Yes,
in 7.
That's what he said.
In 7.
Denver takes down Indiana.
In 6.
And then Indiana never makes the finals with this core again?
Yes.
I'm with that.
Yes.
I'm with that.
But you mentioned Tyrese Halliburton.
Yeah, no, it's just it feels like the NBA has been pushing the Pacers ever since the in-season tournament.
Guess.
You know what I mean? They really haven't been as hot. They haven't done anything that's crazy, but I see them all the time on ESPN.
Yeah.
All the time.
I mean, Tyrese has been getting pushed a lot.
Yeah.
And a man with 2 voices? That's just an anomaly in itself.
He has 2 voices?
Oh, yeah. I showed Joe before. Yeah,
players do have 2 voices.
No, his just switches like mid-sentence.
It's
crazy. It's Pat McAfee just called him out for it directly to his face, and he just laughs about it. He's like, yeah, somebody told me that, and I'll watch clips, and I'll be like, I have no clue how that happens. It's just natural.
I saw somebody refer to Pat McAfee earlier today when he had his man bun as Ponytail Pete.
I love that.
Dude, it was
That's awesome.
I was like, that's
I've never heard
incredible.
that. That's great.
Ponytail Pete. Oh man.
that is
Anyways,
good.
so
Well,
that-
actually, was that like a highlight pick where he's like Ponytail Pete was different or
Yeah,
something like that?
that's
Ponytail
exactly what
Pat
it was.
was different. Yeah. it was a
So
great
my only
video.
question about this bracket thing is, so if it's going to be round by round, like, are we restarting after? Because like some of us could be wrong right after the first
well,
round.
we'll make our list.
I'm never wrong.
And then we'll reveal it as the week goes. We can start each episode. You want to do it?
Okay, yeah.
Or not as the week, but as the series go.
Well,
Yeah.
I mean,
Well, it's just going to
the
be
series
interesting.
shouldn't
though,
take a
'cause,
week, right?
Like I
It's
said,
like
I
a
know.
week.
I
Yeah,
know.
no, it should. Yeah, it'll take
I
a
mean,
little over a
we're
week.
already diverging from the 76ers, so for me, it's like, okay, and I reveal that the 76ers, lost to this team, but the 76ers didn't even make it, kind of deal.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Why we can write them all down. We can
Okay.
put them in the rundown, and
Sounds
then that way we can each series as it advances, we can talk about how terribly wrong you and I were and
Yeah.
how
Tom was right.
accurate Tom was.
I'm a genius. And when it comes to the NBA, boys, I've got it figured out. You just have to take a
Yeah.
step back and forget that it's not a sport. It's all a production in the NBA
That's what I
playoffs.
said earlier.
That's
I
what you
was
got to.
like,
God.
It's scripting.
I was like, Tom is not. He's not getting the bias of watching
Yeah.
what's on the court.
No, yeah,
happen.
no. I don't have to care about what's going on the court. I don't care about the skill levels. I don't care about any of it.
Because I want to let you.
Matchups aren't important.
I want to let you cook. I want you to just get your whole thing written down and have it already. Because, dude,
We'll
you
do
were
playoff.
on a lot last year.
You better be careful, Tom. You
Last
might
year was just
end
me
up on
talking out of
someone's
my
hit-
butt for
hit
no
list.
reason, just taking shots in the dark left and right, and it all panned out, and I loved
Yeah,
it.
now you got a reputation to
Yeah,
uphold.
Yeah.
So, if this one works out, dude,
I
then
You've
we're
cracked
on.
the
Then
code.
we're on
You've
to
cracked the
something.
code.
Never doubt you.
Then we're on to something here.
You would need to start making a lot more bets on NBA.
Yeah,
Just postseason though.
Just postseason.
just postseason because it's production. Like
well, I
you said,
mean,
in
come on, let's be
postseason.
honest. What more is there to bet on in the NBA? I'm an NBA fan, and even I know that.
The over under of Porter points. That's what you can
Yeah,
bet
right.
on. That's profitable right there. If you get the text message beforehand, you know.
So we kind of alluded to the start of the first round starting yesterday and a couple of the games taking place today. We might as well run through them a little bit real quick. We'll talk
Sure.
about yesterday's games, see what we got going on. Excuse me. The Cavaliers now have a 1-0 lead on the Magic. They took it 97-83.
Yeah,
NBA wants
Tom-
to build drama.
Yeah, Tom's big on the Magic, as he said earlier. Joe and I are big on the Cavs. I just
Yeah.
think the Cavs just got more of what it takes.
more experience.
More experience. They got a nice mix of age and youth. The Magic are just a lot of youth,
All youth,
right now.
yeah.
With those times,
That's what surprised me. Where I would say that I'm taking the Magic from being a youthful side. And when you were saying if they get it to Game 7, that's where I really think the experience comes into play in a Game 7.
Which is why I picked the Cavs.
Yeah,
I
So-
think you're so.
That's
I
where
think
it
the
just
Cavs would be
surprises
so
me
shook.
to hear you take if they go to Game 7, you might take the Magic in that situation.
I just because honestly, when you're a young team, ignorance is bliss. Like
Yeah.
if you don't think about losing and you're only focused about how you've pushed this game to 7, and everyone's in that locker room like, dude, we can do this. Like
Yeah.
That's
this is real right now. And then you don't even think about losing. Like with the Cavs, they've failed. This team has failed. Like
Yeah.
this core has failed before.
Absolutely.
So that you always have that possibility of, okay, is it going to happen again? But I still think the Cavs are going to win. I hope the
Agreed.
Magic win. That'd be really cool. Also, an absolute dog pounding the Timberwolves put on the Suns. This was
You've been
I
doubting
like
the
what you
Wolves,
did
like
there.
you said, all year
It might-
long.
Dog pounding
Yeah,
with the
oh,
Wolves. I like
actually,
what
that
you
was
did
not
there.
intentional,
Yeah,
but thank
that's
you.
very good.
But yeah, we were a little bit biased in our selection of our first round with the West because of how bad this was, 120-95. But at the end of
Not,
the day,
not Tom. Look at that man.
oh, yeah, Tom's not wavering.
Unwavering. Did I know about the score? Absolutely not. I knew they were down 1-0 in the series.
But here's the thing, though. In the NBA, a 25-point loss is nothing. Like we
No.
have seen in series
No.
multiple 25-point losses from both sides. It's
Facts.
crazy.
And like Joe said, it doesn't matter because they're on the road.
Yeah.
And a
Until
team
you
like the
win, until you
Suns,
lose
too.
at home.
Yeah. Series doesn't start until the first team loses their home game.
The
One of
Suns
the
got
home
3
teams
guys
loses their
on their team that
All
on
home
any
teams
given
took it,
night
too.
at the same time can score 25 points.
Very,
So
very true.
it's not over for them. But
Although, Bradley Beal's been kind of shaky all year long.
that's true.
Like I said,
Goes back.
I told you, yeah,
Is this his
going
first
to
time in the
another
playoff?
team injured, you're not used to that
Is it?
facility nursing.
Was
yeah.
where was he at before
The Wizards.
Washington?
Yeah,
He spent his whole career with the
So
Wizards.
this is probably his first playoffs, yeah?
No,
he might
he's-
have went when John Wall.
I think they
was younger.
went
okay.
a couple times.
Because they had like Bogut,
I
Kelly
just always
Oubre,
think
Yeah, it was the
he's being
Celtics
terrible.
versus
Otto Porter Jr.
Yeah, it was the Celtics versus Wizards, and ironically, the road team won every game,
Oh,
which was hilarious.
Interesting.
I love a series that does that because usually they're scrappy. Usually,
Usually they have no fan base.
yeah, it's true. At the time, the Wizards kind of did. The Wizards never really been that good as an organization. In
I feel like
general.
it's just tough for
Their
DC
highlights
to have
having
a
Michael
fan
Jordan.
base too.
Yeah, their highlight is having Michael Jordan and John Wall.
Yeah,
John
Wall. Oh yeah, doing the
John
Dougie. Yeah.
Wall.
So Nuggets
That's the
took an
John Wall.
11
Don't you
point
call
win.
that the Dougie?
Is that not the Dougie?
John Wall.
He
They had a
just
whole
does
song
this.
that was just about him flexing.
Yeah.
The Dougie's a whole different song.
But
Dougie's more like an actual dance.
You've been cultured.
but he also
You've
did the,
been cultured.
but he also did the Dougie. I thought.
I mean, he probably
He
did do
probably
that.
does do the Dougie.
A
Don't
lot
get me
of
wrong.
people at
I'm
that time
not
did.
doubting that John Wall is not capable of doing the Dougie. I'm saying that the John Wall dance is different than the Dougie.
It's very similar though.
An
if you think about
extension
it.
of the hand, right?
Kind of
Apparently.
is.
From a white person's perspective, we'll
That's
say
good.
yes.
Yeah, that's true. From our perspective,
From a
it
white
is.
person's perspective, we'll say yes.
So the Nuggets took down
And that's
the
the
Lakers
intro to our show.
by 11, 114-103. We're all pretty dead set that the Nuggets are gonna kind of pull away with this one.
Yeah.
But the Lakers, they're that team where like a lot of their losses felt like winnable games for them. They can always be in a game.
Well,
When
it's going to happen when you have LeBron
Yeah.
James. They're always going to be in it. And I will say this: if they have a chance to win against the Nuggets, it would be now and not later, because again, the Lakers are an older team, so you want those fresh legs right now. If it was like last year where they met the Nuggets in the Western Conference Finals, they would have had no shot whatsoever.
absolutely not. And honestly, this is one of the better years of AD's career too.
Yeah.
So, who freaking knows with that team? I would like to see. I don't even care honestly who wins this. I think both are really exciting. I think if Jokic can pull another MVP this year, get 3 and 4 years,
Yeah, 3 and 4 years is crazy.
and then get another ring 2 and 2 years.
yeah.
You're gonna start having to have that conversation of, is he the greatest center of all time?
Yeah, he would shoot up real quick.
Yeah.
Like top 5, like without a doubt.
So either way,
Half-assed.
Well, I feel like you're still not the only person that you're gonna have that debate with is the guy that played against. Everyone says, "Oh yeah, he played against plumbers."
Bill
and,
Russell?
Yeah, because his stats are just stupid.
yeah,
You know what I mean? Like-
No, but
championships.
there are the center position. There's been a
That's
lot
fair.
of great
That's where
ones, like
old-
Shaquille
older,
O'Neal,
yeah,
Elijah Wan,
Elijah, yeah, there are more older centers that are way still
David
above
Robinson
him that I would not
was
give
the
him
last
credit.
person to have a
That's fair.
quadruple double.
And also, with a lot of those guys that when it comes to the greatest ever of all time, kind of like conversations,
Kareem, obviously second.
like a
leading
big
scorer.
reason of why I think LeBron is the best player of all time, or Steph is the best shooter of all time, is because they don't take the game the way it's played and play it perfectly. They change the way the game is played.
Right. Yeah.
So because
And
of
part
that,
of what they did was kill that position that we're trying to talk about too. You
But
know what
this
I
is
mean?
the
Like
thing
it's
is
kind of a
we've-
dead position.
we've never seen a center
True.
play center like this and
Correct.
be
Yeah,
one
agreed.
of the best players in the league.
You used to have point forwards. He's a point center.
Yeah.
Everything goes through him,
Imagine
and
if,
it's not
imagine
him
if the Rockets
posting
were
up.
running shit through Yao back in the day.
Yeah,
You know, like if
exactly.
Tracy was passing to Yao and doing off the ball stuff, coming off
But
clean
like I
with
said,
a lane to the hole,
it's
that'd be
different,
crazy.
though, because obviously, like we've kind of alluded to back in the day, you'd put the big center guy in the post and
Yeah.
be like, okay,
Let
we'll
him
run
go to
through him through the post. But
Yeah.
no, he catches it from the high post, kind of sits there and is like, okay,
Their
in the
high
middle of
post
the
is one of
court.
their best setups.
Yeah.
They have some
That's
of the
what
most
I'm saying.
success out of
Imagine
high
Yao
post.
Ming. From the top of the key, you get an aerial view at
Yeah.
everything going on. Like it would be crazy.
Like with Bill Russell.
Not
Bill,
that he was. I don't think. No, he could be that good of a passer. I don't know how great Yao was at passing the ball, but that's
Bill-
where Jokic is just different.
Yeah.
Bill-
That's where I think that I would go with you, where the changing of the game. I don't think we've ever seen a center that could pass the ball like this, but I don't know if a
not
center's
a
ever
lot.
been put in the
DeMarcus
position to
Cousins
pass the
is
ball
probably
like
the
this.
last one who could
Yeah.
pass like this.
And it was always so weird because the first 4 years, it's almost like the stats was actually trying to like warn people that this was coming, because like the first 4 years in his league, the stats kept saying like, this man's like the most efficient and elite passer in the history of the NBA, and everyone was just like, what the frig? I hate stats. This is so stupid. Why? Who's listening to this baloney-ness, this BS? And all suddenly now, 5 years later, it's like, oh crap, the stats were forewarning us. We should have actually, for once, paid attention to the number.
Yeah, like Bill Russell was the greatest center because when he played, he won all the time. Obviously, at every stage as well. Like
who was
it wasn't just as a
reboarding
player,
that man?
but he's a half a foot taller than 98% of the league, and he's just
99,
better at basketball. Like Jokic
Can jump
is
higher, run
changing the way
faster.
the center position is being played, and it's the only reason that Denver is successful.
Yeah.
If they didn't start running this high
Agreed.
post and realize that they're two guys who can jump through the roof and also hit corner threes, can just run the baseline 90% of the game. Once they figured that out, it was close up shop. We got it.
And this is dating back to last year when they met in the Western Conference Finals. Again, AD is known as a defensive player. He's a really good defensive player, and Jokic is just like, whatever.
No, I remember you vividly saying that if AD can't lock up Jokic, then he's going to be a problem for everybody else, and he couldn't do it, and he was a problem for everybody else.
Stephen A. talked about it a couple of days ago where he goes, this is the final test for AD. Like, if you want to be who you say
the
you
defensive
are,
guy,
you have to win this series. Like, you have to. And that's why I'm really excited about the series specifically is, a lot of people are saying LeBron needs one more to be the GOAT.
Okay.
If Jokic wins, he's in that conversation of the greatest center of all time. Like, these are the storylines. Last year we talked about it with the Lakers and the Warriors. Like, I was saying, if the Lakers win this series, we may never see this Warriors core in the playoffs again. And here we are.
And 1 year later, you're right.
We're not going to. So these are the series that I really like to cling on to and pay a lot more attention to because they're the ones that we might need to remember in a few years.
Yeah,
that's fair.
But I think that Denver's still gonna pull it away. I'm rooting for the Lakers. That would be fun. It's fun to see LeBron
as a
in the
Celtic
playoffs.
fan, I can't ever root for the Lakers.
Oh, sorry, buddy.
Playing footsie.
Yeah, going in a little bit.
Hell yeah.
All right, so games so far that took place today.
Celtics beat the Heat.
I actually put the wrong picture in there and put the same one in twice.
Yes, you did.
Yep. But yeah, Joe's beloved Celtics took down the Heat 114-94.
Jaylen Brown still can't dribble. It's hilarious.
Not really a surprising outcome, though, huh?
You don't need to dribble to get paid, all right? Let's get that straight.
He can count money with his right hand.
Yeah, exactly. That's the issue. He pays attention too much to his right hand.
The other team does, too. That might be the biggest issue. But yeah, they took him down. Not really too surprising. I mean, well,
like I said earlier, Jimmy Butler is injured, and underrated player Terry Rozier, who used to play for the Celtics, is also injured. So, and he was like their sixth man. So,
yeah,
you're missing your sixth man and your star best player. I mean,
Yaka has played pretty good in the play-in, though. I didn't see what he did today. I didn't pay too much attention to the game.
Yeah. Bam did all right today. He at one point Bam had all of the Heat's points.
Adonis Haslam says that Bam is one of, if not the best one-on-one player he's ever played against. He's
a very good dribbler for a big man.
He's so long, dude. He'd be tough.
Mike Beasley said to this day, Bam is the only person to ever beat him one-on-one.
I wouldn't doubt it, dude, just because he moves so well for a tall, lengthy guy. And he's so long that he doesn't even need to move that well, How are you going to get a shot off?
Plus, I mean, he's so good. He's so on strong. Team USA. They announced that he's on Team USA. So
that's the thing. Michael Beasley is such a weird person. Like,
Michael
he might
Beasley
be
was
the
a
best
great
player
college
to not
player.
be successful in the NBA.
Yeah.
Like, everybody in the league would always talk about how incredible of a basketball player he was, how he was on every court, the best player that was on it, like, all the time, and he just could never put it together. Speaking of the Heat, but
it's a team game.
It is a team game, and he's not on any team anymore. Wasn't on for a long time. Get another look in with the Clippers and Mavericks real quick. Let's take a look.
Are the Clippers starting to pull away? That'd be hilarious.
That's yesterday's game.
I don't care about game one.
Up 20, Clippers 72, Mavericks 52. Let's get a little insight. See how everybody's playing real fast. We got Kyrie Irving 7 for 12 with 19. Not too shabby.
What
Not
about
enough
Luka,
to make
though?
Team
Luka
USA.
6 and 17 for 18.
6 and 17. Oh, Tatum got a triple-double today, first of his playoff career, by the way.
Nice.
Yeah.
Harden's got 23, shooting 50, 5 of 8 from 3, though.
Nice, Harden.
Zubac's got 16 for him and 11.
What about Paul George?
Paul George he's 4 for 11 right now with 11, 3 of 8 from 3.
So what you're saying is James Harden is...
He's carrying a little bit.
Wow.
Westbrook's not doing too bad. 10 points off the bench, 4 for 6. We'll take a look
I
on
mean,
that later on in the
that's a
day.
great
Harden
line for
proved it
Westbrook.
last year. He can win you one game. So maybe that was their thought process of like, hey, let's hope that
They're
James
gonna bench him,
Harden.
start Russ next game just because they know
No.
that Harden's done for the series.
No, saying like,
They've
hey,
used him.
hey, let's try to convince James Harden to win us game 1, and then that way we can rest Kawhi and then get him back, and Kawhi can win us game 2.
Let's convince him to do it.
Not a
That's
bad
it.
strategy.
Yeah.
But 7 p.m. Tom's probably one of his favorite series coming up this season.
Bucks and Pacers.
Bucks and Pacers. Yep.
Ooh.
Indiana won
Will
nothing.
he
Indiana's
watch
got
it?
a
He will
1.5.
not.
You heard nothing. I'm letting you know Indiana won nothing. That builds a lot of buzz for the series itself. I'm letting you know that right now. You watch this. Indiana goes up 1-0 at home, starts the series.
I will
We'll
say,
find out.
it looks like here that
I'll put my,
Indiana was the only team to be a lower seed and have Las Vegas on their side.
Vegas is taking them.
They gave them
What?
1.5.
Wow.
And people are Vegas is
And the
gonna make
plot
out.
thickens.
Vegas is gonna make out like bandits because everybody's pounding the Bucks. Let me go. I'm plugging it in right now.
That
just so
game's
you guys
taking
know.
place at 7. You know, put a unit on it, Tom.
I'm
if you're
going
that
to. Right, I'm
confident.
going to right now, brother. You.
Pelicans and Thunder will be wrapping up today's action for the NBA playoffs at 9:30. All these games on, I didn't see where the first two were, but the second two were on TNT.
The one
ABC's Mavs.
ABC, I was gonna say.
Was that
yeah.
Celtics too?
Yep.
Yeah, okay. So they're going 2-2. That's usually how they do it, right? I'm pretty
I
sure.
think so. Yep.
Yeah, that's going to be 9:30. Thunder's got 8.5 on the game.
Tell the people it's confirmed.
Nice.
We're in on the Pacers, going up 1-0 in the series tonight.
How much are you gonna win if Vegas is with you?
$22.
Wow.
I know. I'm risking 25
We like that.
Wow.
for a 1-point win. For a 1-point win, no. Like, are you kidding me? Like, if they win by 1, I don't get paid. That's ridiculous. For the Pacers to win by 1, they're a favorite to win this game. It's so absurd.
You know, Tom and Joe, honestly, you both alluded to it. Someone's not going to be on the Olympic Team USA, Kyrie Irving.
Yeah.
The NBA released their team. As I mentioned, Kyrie not on the list.
I
but
think the most surprising thing about this, though, is the way that he handled it.
he handled it well. He was
Yeah.
quoted in saying,
I think 2 years ago he goes nuts and has
beginning of the
a
year.
much different quote.
you could even argue at the beginning of the year. Yeah,
Fair.
he said, I grew up playing in a time to where we actually had to try out for the USA basketball team, and we did meet up as a group and as peers, and there was a mutual respect that we earned from one another in trying out. What you were going to say, though, Joe?
I actually really like this team, even though
I do too.
Kyrie's off
Yeah.
of it. I really like it. I also kind of wish, though, I agree with Kyrie that I actually did look forward to kind of the white versus blues like scrimmages. That's when Paul George obviously had that devastating injury. I was watching that game. I saw
Dude,
that live.
I was
so.
at basic training. I got a letter from my dad where he said it, and I was like, what the
Yeah.
heck?
So I am with Kyrie. I actually enjoyed watching those games and seeing them really compete because, again, that's what we've been complaining about is like, oh, the All-Star game, they don't compete. But in the blue versus whites, they compete because
They
they're
always
trying
did.
to make Team USA. So it was always awesome to watch those and see like, oh, my God, like they are really this good.
One of the
It's
best
insane.
highlights from Kyrie's career is when he worked, what was it, Harden, Westbrook, Kobe,
Yeah, it
and
was a
somebody
press.
else.
Yeah, he like broke the press.
He went all the way down the court, going through all four of them, and then finished. I believe he finished it with a
So
layup.
ultimately, ultimately, if this is the roster they're thinking it's going to be, show like kind of favoritism towards, that's fine. I still would want a camp going on. I mean, there's been years where we've had like Kyle Culver on like Team USA because simply they were like, hey, we're looking for chemistry and stuff like
That's what I
that.
was about to say.
But I mean, I still just wish they would have had the camp. Plus, if there was a camp, maybe someone encouraged Jaylen Brown to dribble with his left hand because as the highest paid NBA player, he's not on this Team USA roster, which is
Isn't that crazy?
hilarious.
Is there
Especially when
somebody
there's
that
two
you-
other Celtics on this roster.
Is there somebody that you'd replace? That you'd
Nope,
take?
not for
I was
Jaylen
gonna
Brown,
say that-
nope.
Would you take anybody out and
Nope.
put Jaylen Brown in their
Nope.
place?
But
Because I don't think I would either.
Yeah, no.
I like this team.
Yeah, I like this team. The only person I could possibly think of taking out is Kawhi simply
I thought
because
the
of
same
the
thing.
injury histoy. He might not even make it
Yep,
to
I was
oversee.
thinking
So,
the exact same thing right
but it
before you
wouldn't
said
be
it.
Jaylen Brown. It would be like Kyrie Irving.
But like, so I was thinking like I wouldn't be upset if you flip flop Drew Holiday and Kyrie Irving out of there. Like that's one that
Yeah.
I feel like because I feel like their purpose, just looking at what I believe the purpose is on paper, is Drew's there to dribble, and
No,
Kyrie can dribble.
He's defense.
Defensive
Drew is
dribble,
there for
true.
defense.
He's
Yeah.
very good at defense.
Same with Bam.
They went very defensive heavy on this
Yeah.
roster.
Yeah, because they definitely, like you said, Anthony Davis defense, Drew Holiday defense,
That's
Bam
true. I don't know
defense,
much about
Kawhi
anybody.
defense. So that's the thing. If you're
KD,
gonna,
LeBron, also defense.
I would like to see who the alternates
they're-
are because, like, Kawhi, we're talking about probably isn't going to be there. Joel, I'm saying he's probably not going to be
that's a
there.
good point.
You know, so
But they
I
would
would
probably
like to see
wanna
who some of the
replace him
alternates
with a
here
center.
are.
Shocking he's
Yeah,
playing for Team
yeah. No, I
USA.
just would be curious to
Oh
know who they
yeah,
are.
Embiid. Yeah,
Yeah.
France
I'm not
is
saying
not
that.
happy
I'm not
about
saying
that.
Kyrie would replace either of those two guys. I just am curious to know who the alternates are on paper that we have lined up.
That's a good
that
point.
would be coming in because I'm with you guys. I don't think.
It's a good list.
I don't know much about Kawhi's injury past, but Joel, just seeing what he's going through right now, if they make it to round 2, I can promise he's not playing in the Olympics.
When does it start?
Well, it's the Olympics, so probably would be like 2 months before
August,
the actual
right?
Olympics.
July,
That's
so,
what, I don't think it matters. Like
When does the
his
Olympics actually
body,
start? It's like August, July, right?
I think so. Yeah,
I don't know. It's not too big of a deal.
just the way that he looks in game yesterday, I think he needs a full off season.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like that guy needs time away from the game to recover.
I do really like this list because
July. It starts July 26th through August 11th.
There's some clips I thought I was watching episodes of The Walking Dead, but no, it was just Joel last night.
But that's the thing. If we were like you were saying with the injury with Joel and Kawhi Leonard, who
where,
are
like,
our
who-
guesses? Obviously,
Sabonis. Oh, I don't know
Ooh.
if Sabonis is. He's not American.
yeah.
Yeah, that hurts.
Getting Joel is a huge pull.
Oh,
I
absolutely.
don't know who convinced him, but they need a raise.
5. Who?
'Cause
Center's a dead position. So
Yeah, that's what I mean. It's just like, who would you
the
put?
guy from the Suns. Is he American?
Are you talking about Ayton, who's not
Yeah.
even on the Suns
he's not on
anymore?
the Suns. He's Trailblazers.
That's right, but
That's
that's,
what I
I'm
mean.
just thinking of. I'm trying to
I
think of
wouldn't pick him. Honestly.
people who are athletic big men,
I'm trying to think.
American
Zion?
athletic big men.
Zion could
that's not bad.
possibly,
I
but
just
he
don't know
was
what he's done
injured.
this year.
That's why he's not playing
Well, I
with
mean,
the Pelicans.
Kawhi
right?
was, PG was, Devin Booker was at one point.
Well, but I'm saying currently right now, and if we're talking like, hey, let's replace these 2 injured players with 2 other injured players.
That would be just such an NBA thing for Zion to make such an impact at the Olympics, but not have really made an NBA impact. Like
That's a
it
good
just would be
point.
such a fitting
But
NBA
that's the thing.
thing.
I would still pick Zion though if I'm them because if he is healthy because
yeah.
when Zion is on the court, he is one of the best players
Yeah,
in the world.
he's different.
Like without a doubt.
You have to game plan around him
Yeah.
and everybody else in the starting
he dropped
5. You know,
40, and I don't think he shot from more than 5 feet away from the rim.
Yeah.
Like on that playing game against the Lakers, he dropped 40, and he's got the highest shooting percentage in the league in around the rim. So I don't know if he's available, I'm taking him. And if we're taking Kawhi Leonard and announcing him right now when he's also not playing in the series right now, then that theory's out the window.
does
for
Wemby
me.
have his citizenship yet?
He's
No,
playing
he'll
for
never
France.
leave France.
Yeah. I mean, like, I'm
We
just
talked
look-
Embiid out of leaving somewhere.
That's probably why they're like,
France as
dude, you
well.
want a
Yeah,
lot
we
of
talked
time,
Embiid
right?
out of leaving France. You know, like we can make it happen. No, God, they would be a force down low if Embiid went back to France and they had those two.
Yeah,
that's
but
scary.
Joel is to France as Giannis is to Greece. Though.
What about Miles Turner? Is he American?
Giannis plays with Greece though.
Yeah, but what I'm saying is Wembanyama grew up in France. Like Embiid grew up in Cameroon, right? He didn't even move to France until the last handful of years.
That's
before he
fair.
went to
I was gonna
college.
say because he does have he could play. You're right at 3
I think
because he
it's
has
Cameroon.
citizenship
That's how you
there.
say it, right? I believe so.
I think so.
Cameroon.
think so.
Cameroon, I think you're
I'm gonna
right.
sound really ignorant, and I'm sorry, but I don't know how to say it.
We already discussed how white we were
Yeah,
earlier.
Miles
discussing
Turner is
dance moves.
American. That would be my pick if you're
Who?
so Miles Turner.
Miles Turner's a good one.
Yeah, especially if, like you said, it's coming down and it's like, hey, Zion is still kind of injured. He's not 100%. Do we want to go with Zion? And I could see the Pelicans kind of saying, like, no, he can't go.
No.
Then it would go, like,
Yeah.
maybe, okay.
Yeah, I would want to pick Jarrett Allen, but
you
that
did.
guy's admitted to 3 different times that the lights are too bright for him on multiple
Yeah.
occasions. So I don't know if I really trust him in the Olympics.
Who would you replace Kawhi with? Probably, like, Kyrie Irving, even though it's a different
I don't know
position.
if OG is American or not. I think he might be Canadian.
I think, yeah, he is Canadian.
Is he?
Yeah, I'm, like, 95% sure. Because I think it was a match made in heaven when he went to the Raptors.
Oh, he's from England.
Oh. Okay. That 5%.
Canadian adjacent.
Yeah. Yeah.
England owned them for a while. Now they're still boys.
Yeah. Okay. So.
Canada and England still got that
Kawhi
romance thing
Leonard.
going on.
Mm, so they're saying Kyrie and Jalen were Brunson were the 2 snubs.
Brunson's a good one.
Brunson's a snub there, but that's where I'm gonna scroll through and see if they list any big men's as snubs.
I'm trying to think of 3-and-D style
Yeah.
players.
Because obviously, I mean, I'd be fine with Brunson or Kyrie, but again, now you're talking really
Tyler
a point
Hero.
guard, shooting guard. Tyler Hero, really?
All right, so yeah, we really don't have any other snubs. This article is from NBC Philadelphia. They did list Maxey off as a snub, which I get it. You're from Philadelphia.
Yeah, absolutely.
Brunson, Kyrie. The next one, Cooper Flagg, the Duke commit from Maine.
Well, they usually do.
That's like-
bring
I
in a
know.
college guy.
They haven't since. I don't think the
Since AD, I think.
Oh, I forgot AD did get taken,
12?
and that was right. And that was
12,
like
I think.
after he got done with college, right? Like he didn't go
Yeah, he
back
didn't
to
play
Kentucky
yet.
after
Yeah,
that.
he
Like that
didn't.
was after his senior year, but he hadn't gone and played in the NBA yet.
Pretty sure he had committed and
He was
gotten
still rocking
drafted,
full
but he
unibrow.
Still was college. Yeah,
Yeah, he was still rocking. That was unibrow AD.
We could have.
That guy was good.
he was good.
Obviously, like you said, if we're replacing injury players with injured players,
But I just am like,
Jimmy Butler instead of Kawhi.
if this is what the reputable media is
He's
going
a
with
dog.
as a snub,
You'd want him on your team if you're Team
if
USA.
he wanted to play, if he came, I mean, seriously, if he went up to you and said, "I'm playing for Team USA," what are you gonna say? No, like he would.
Yes, sir, Mr. Butler.
He literally would be like, "I will take all your snubs and college players and be your
if
starters."
Jimmy Butler did just walk up to the coach and was like, "Hey, I'm playing."
Like,
No, Jimmy, you're not on the roster. What do you mean? I am the USA.
He
You
shows
thought
up with the,
postseason Jimmy was something? Wait till you see Olympic Jimmy.
shows up with like the and one mixtape crew and just fucking whoop, dropped one. Just works the NBA players.
I would love for Jimmy to get his citizenship somewhere else
Oh my
and
gosh.
ball out in the Olympics and just take somewhere random. He's leading China. It'd be phenomenal to watch.
or take like Taiwan.
Yeah, just somewhere great.
Small country. That'd be incredible.
That'd be hilarious. It's Taiwan with Jimmy Butler taking on USA.
I think they let Taiwan compete, but it's under a different name.
Yeah, because
It's still under Chinese
China,
control.
even though they themselves consider them.
It's
sure
the
they
Little League
say
World.
that
It's the Little League World Series team that you're like, that's not a country, and you have
Isn't
to
it-
look at it every year.
Isn't it like the Chinese Republic?
Chinese Taipei.
Taipei.
Yeah,
Taipei. It's the
Taipei.
Chinese Taipei is
Yep.
what's always in the Little League World Series, and you're like,
There
I've
you
never
go,
heard
Jimmy.
of this
We
place.
found a team for
You're
you.
like, I've never heard of this place before.
It's Taiwan, yeah.
Yeah.
All right.
Oh, wow.
You want to get into this last one, or should we skip it for the today?
I don't
Because I feel like could be a whole thing.
I feel like you can get into it.
Yeah. Alrighty. So Jonte Porter, also known as my brother of Michael Porter Jr., received a lifelong ban from the NBA. We've talked about this briefly before the ban came out, of kind of what he did. I believe so on the podcast, right?
I think you tried to explain it to us. Yeah.
I mean, I've just heard it explained on several different
Okay.
podcasts. I didn't know if it was him that explained it or who it was that explained it.
I don't know
But
if we talked about it though.
I don't think we
Hold on.
talked about it on this. I
Well,
don't
we
think
will
have it
right
all.
now.
All
So
right.
Jonte Porter, more of a role player, center position for the Toronto Raptors.
Man, not even the USA, huh?
No,
Well, it's
Not
Canada that busted them.
yeah, and they are Canadian, aren't they?
Yes.
Yeah, the
Yeah.
Raptors, yeah.
No,
Oh.
I mean Michael Porter Jr. and
Oh,
his
I don't
family.
know about that.
I don't know. I was just wrong about, you know,
Canadian. Oh well. Not important.
Ojanabi.
Chet
So.
Holmgren. That was another big man that we.
Chet's a good one.
I found the player pool.
Chet's a good
I
one.
pulled up the player pool there, so I'm sorry I'm late to the party there.
No, that's
on
fine.
the
Chet's a
last
good one.
topic,
I like
but-
that.
That would be so weird to look at LeBron James and be like, "Hey, remember me?
Yeah.
You injured me. Couldn't
So-
even play my rookie season."
Jonte Porter receives a lifelong ban. What happened was they were getting irregularities on prop bets. FanDuel was that had to
It was
do.
announced multiple times that their biggest winners on several nights, and that's how they do it. That's how they look at stuff. Is they're saying, okay, where did we lose the most amount of money? On 3 different occasions, their biggest losses came from prop bets. On, I can't even remember his first name.
Jonte.
On Jonte. And that is an irregularity in itself. Is your biggest winners or losers are on specific individual prop bets.
Huh.
That itself is the biggest red flag ever to a betting institution, and kicked off the full investigation. And it came out that, yeah, he was texting, what was it, texting friends?
He was texting a known. All they said is a known bettor, like a known sports bettor, about his condition of himself for the games. For it was 2 different
Unreleased
occasions.
information not known to the general
public, yeah.
public about
Or even
how he
the
was
other
feeling,
team.
whether or not he was sick. And if he was going to be sick and it wasn't listed on the injury report, he knew he wasn't going to be playing very many minutes. Yeah, easy, no doubt. I'm going to bet the under on your rebounds, your points, your assists, everything. And this guy's not a top 5, top 15, top 50 NBA player,
Yeah, he's
He's
not
not even
probably.
a top
Role
15
player.
center.
So that's where we're looking at this as how are people betting the amount of money that they're betting on this guy and winning as much money as they are, and it was a pretty easy red flag for them to find and then track down.
Easy trail to
And
follow.
they didn't even try to hide it. They placed an $80,000 bet that had over
Yeah.
$1 million payout. Like, that's
Crazy.
just wild.
Crazy.
You could have milked it for like 5 or 6 years, getting a couple grand a month if you really wanted to, and no one would have ever known. But you
Is
said,
the
you know what,
same
let me put
thing-
everything.
The same thing happened with college baseball last year. I think it was the Alabama Crimson Tide. Their head coach was about to pull their starting pitcher for the day. Hadn't released that information to anybody in the media, anybody at betting
made that
sites.
phone call. Yeah,
made a
you
phone call
mentioned
to
that,
his
yeah.
buddy. His buddy went and placed the bet. After the bet was done and confirmed, his buddy texted him, and then he went and told people that he was, starting a different pitcher that was not very good. They had it on camera, all of it. The phone
Yeah, 'cause
calls,
I saw
the
the phone
text
call, yeah.
messages,
I
like
remember
all of
you
it.
talking
Know
about
about
this
that.
last
Like,
year.
it's
yeah.
very easy to find after the fact, but it's scary to see that the doors are being open to this, where it's
Yeah.
like how many people are not being dumb about it
See, I
and
like
hiding it.
I
a
like
little bit
what
better.
the NBA did because
Yeah,
this
example.
is the third out of the 4 major American sports that we've had betting scandals come out of. We've had
Agreed.
Calvin Ridley, we've had Shohei, and now we've had Jonte Porter. The NBA looked around and they said, we don't want to be a part of this. We need to nip this in the butt now. We need to
Yep.
establish a game plan, and just hammered it. Lifetime, bam, boom. And honestly, they're not missing anybody. It's Jonte Porter. Didn't know who the guy was a month ago. Not a clue. Didn't even know Michael Porter Jr. had a brother.
Yeah.
Let alone he's got 2. Other one, look him up. I'm not going to tell you what happened. Look up what Michael Porter Jr. Other brother did. It's crazy. All right. So,
Tough week for the family.
yeah. So the NBA isn't losing anything by
Right.
getting a player like
No.
this out. It's a quote unquote nobody in the league's eyes. So I like what they did. But Joe brought up a good question, or I guess a statement you said earlier. You said you were surprised. This has been a crazy year in sports,
Right.
Because of sports gambling, sports betting. And then I said, is it or is it what we all expected? And then it kind of seemed like this was a topic we all kind of wanted to go into.
I just think the door needs to be slammed shut in these instances, and we've seen baseball do it in the past with a figure like Pete Rose, who
Pete
deserves to
Rose,
be in
yeah.
the Hall of Fame.
Or what was it? The Black Sox way back when
Yeah,
they
yep.
weren't ever convicted, but they were like on a jury.
They were banned. They went, I think, under federal U.S. prosecution for that.
But I
one,
don't
too,
think they
but-
ever found.
Yeah, no,
it,
I don't
that
think
they
were ever
guilty.
convicted.
But still, it was that scare factor of
banned
like,
from the
oh
game
my
of baseball.
god, yeah.
And
See, history is repeating itself, and now basketball is like, nope, here we go, we're slamming it.
you need to, because of the risk that it presents, where, like Mikey said, we don't know if this was one of his friends. We know it just as a bettor.
A known better, yeah.
This bettor, I mean, clearly he had the funds to put up the funds for the bet, but we don't know if that was everything that man owns. We don't know anything about the situation. If for some reason his coach said, I don't care that you don't feel well, you're playing today.
Perfect. Let me tell my boys.
And he, well, no, in the middle of the game, like he texted his boys already. He said, hey, I'm not feeling good, and I've told my coach this. I'm probably not playing very many minutes. They all take the unders. He then goes, they get into a bunch of foul trouble. Hey, sorry that you're feeling bad, but you've got to play today, and he hits all the overs. Their boys are probably going to want that money back, right?
Well, there was one clip where he banked in a 3-pointer and looked very upset that he made it.
So there were situations like that where everything now is getting analyzed, but you can't open up the door to somebody going out there and not trying their hardest.
Right.
That to me,
Pandora's
I think,
box, yeah.
where if it was just, hey, I texted them, let them know that I wasn't feeling great, it's equivalent to insider trading, and
Yep.
yeah, is it illegal? Absolutely. I don't frown on that as much as somebody that's going out there and willingly missing shots and shaving points.
It
You know
also
what I
came
mean?
out that he bet on the Raptors to lose. He
Okay.
won $20,000 betting on them to lose.
That is absurd. You cannot bet against yourself in any way, shape, or form. Pete Rose,
You can bet for yourself all you want. I don't
Pete
care.
Rose, and that's where it was before the days of, I'm sure, the data keeping that we keep on every bet that's placed
Right.
and the whole 9 yards there, where you couldn't physically prove that Pete only bet on himself, but he did admit to betting on baseball and betting on games that he was participating in, but only for himself to win.
See, that's the thing. Like, I totally get.
I would love for athletes to be able to put down a $5 million bet on
I think you should be able to bet on
yeah.
yourself to win as much as you want, and I don't care.
But then the issue becomes is, okay,
Yeah,
you
that's
put
how
down $5
Floyd
million
Mayweather got
on
a lot of
yourself.
money.
How are you going to pay that bet back? You need to pay back your bookie. You don't got.
When you lose.
Yeah.
It is, but your bookie doesn't care how he gets that money, and if that means that you're going to shave some points for him in your next upcoming game, you didn't bet on yourself to lose that, but your bookie's taking bets on your performance, and you can lose.
Just
Don't
win,
lose.
baby.
That's
Just
where
win.
I agree.
Ever.
I am with you guys 100%.
Never lose
Where
another game.
you know how competitive I am. I couldn't ever bet against myself or
Right.
bet on myself to lose
Did
unless
Pete
I was like,
Rose,
guys, this is something that I just can't do.
Did Pete Rose bet when he was a player or as a manager?
I think it was just as a manager,
I
but
feel
it
like
could
he
have been
should
as
be
a.
in the
it
Hall of
could-
Fame as a player.
That's what a lot of people say.
I think that is
his
dumb.
memorabilia is in there,
That's so
but he's
stupid.
not. He doesn't have a plaque in there.
That's so stupid.
I do. I want to.
Pete Rose
I
for
want
the show.
to take a sticker the next time I'm in there and just like
We'll
slip
let
it
you in the
somewhere.
hall.
You know what I mean?
You
I
mean
want
in the
to
Hall
take
of
a
Fame?
picture of like
Send
have
us a
somebody
jersey.
create a Pete Rose plaque, take a little just mini picture of it somewhere, and make a sticker of it. Just stick it like in a corner where no one will notice it, and just
Ooh.
that way I know Pete's in the hole
We
where he
got you,
belongs.
Pete. We got you.
I just think, but it
What?
did make
This
for a
will
great
go viral.
Capital One commercial or whatever those were back in the day, where Pete,
I think it's
you're not
Lumber
allowed in the hall,
Liquidator,
and
yeah.
he's like, "What? Even in my own house?"
Yeah. Get
Great
out of the hall.
commercial. Great commercial.
Pete, if you send us a signed jersey, you'll be on our
So
Hall of Fame.
that's where my official opinion on the athletes gambling is it just opens up way too many doors.
Yeah, you got to slam the
Two-
hammer.
2 point shaving scandals and essentially fraud, and
Yeah.
that's how these betting corporations are going to lose money, and they're not for it, so they're going to slam the door shut, and I think these associations and leagues should follow suit as well.
I'm just waiting
for the sake of all of us as bettors, like I want to watch a good, clean game. We've already got the referees, throwing their hat into the mix.
Yeah.
I don't need to see players start not trying either. The NBA has enough of that already. Nice.
I'm just waiting now for the hockey scandal to come out, being
Yeah,
that
right.
we've seen football, basketball,
Hockey's just-
baseball.
Like, there's not many. I mean, there are prop bets of is this guy going to score or not, but I feel like it's just such a hard thing to rig. Like you would need the other goalie to be in on it. You would need a whole lot. Like the goalies would be the biggest people that would be able to rig
This
games.
guy hasn't hit his under in 14 seasons,
Like-
or hasn't hit his over.
Like
in
we've
14
seen
seasons.
performances where teams have led up 50 shots and you're still only letting up 3 goals. You know what I
Right.
mean? Like it would need to be a goalie that would need to rig it for the over. Like
I feel like
just
he'd
letting
be the
in
only
goals.
one, yeah, that could actually really.
Yeah,
do
the
it.
only prop bet I feel like in hockey they could do is probably like on the enforcer, where it's just like, will he get in a fight tonight or
Oh,
not?
I don't even know if they bet on those, but that would be phenomenal. Like I don't know if that's offered.
If they do, they need to offer wins and losses of fights. Then.
No, you can't, because hockey fights sometimes they're just
That's true. Half of them
terrible,
don't
and
really
there's
have a
like
win.
nobody connects with any punches, but you get what they were trying to do, so you appreciate
Wow,
it.
you hit my helmet. Wow.
Yeah, everybody fights with visors these days.
Yeah.
Like that pisses me off. Back in the day,
day.
enforcers used to play without visors. Like it was standard
They took
because
their
you
own
knew you were
helmets
going to
off.
fight, and you were going to fight the other enforcer, and he wasn't going to have a visor. So it was almost like a respect thing. Like, hey, we don't want to go punching each other's glass. But no, these days everybody's just like, hey, how much protection? It's almost basically just like amateur boxing. Let's get the helmet on. Might as well leave the gloves on too. Like
Yeah, they're probably hurting their fists when they're punching them. Like, oh, jeez.
locker
Why'd they
boxing
do
back
this?
in the day, that was phenomenal. That's what it was. Is you had beef as teammates. You keep your helmets on. You leave your gloves on. You guys box it out, and the whole team just watches. And then a parent comes in and catches you guys, and all hell breaks loose. It's exactly how it used to go back in the day.
And are we sure that in hockey, if you shoot from the blue line, it's not
I'm
worth
positive.
like 2 points?
I wasn't going
They
to put
should
you on
allow
blast for that.
Wait, you really thought that was a thing?
When I
As
was
a
younger,
child, yeah. And I'm letting you know, it would be entertaining as all get out.
Because that's the thing. Obviously, I was
Where
still
does it
in
The
stop, though?
basketball mindset.
huge,
Like,
huge in the NBA.
Where does it stop? Is
Full
the
court,
other
full
blue
court.
line
Oh,
3, and then the
you bet your
icing
ass,
zone is 4?
you bet your ass.
No, so when I was growing up, I just thought like that blue line was worth 2, and like anything beyond it was 2.
And if you do it with a
That's
goalie
reasonable.
stick, all those point doubles, all those points double. So yeah, if the goalie makes it, Martin Brodeur was a lethal weapon back in the
And
day.
if it's a knuckle puck, oh man, what a move!
Because like you said, watch basketball, so I thought every sport was like the NBA, where it's like, oh, you got a 3-point line. So when I saw the blue line, I was like, oh, that clearly must be where if you shoot from and make it from there, it's worth 2. Yeah, versus 3, because obviously the NBA is going by 2s and 3s, and hockey's going by 1s and 2s. That makes sense. Yeah.
So when
Going
soccer
by
had
ones and twos.
when soccer had 2 boxes, what was your mindset
Hockey
there?
plays street ball style.
Well,
Ones
again,
and twos,
I never
baby.
really played hockey, and that was the thing. I did play
did play
soccer
soccer.
young in Mexico, so I kind of they
So,
taught us. So
Okay, I just want the reason I'm really nailing this home. So every sport has lines,
yeah,
and basketball is the only one where that line affects the point system.
yeah.
Knowing that information previously, you were like, 2 points.
Yeah,
Dude, you should have seen him lose his mind at the end of the game with the open netters for those 3-pointers.
yeah,
He was like, what the hell? They're not giving him any credit for the long ball.
All right, that's all we got for this week's Talkin' Athletics. I'm your host, Mike Papa. Joe, Tom, as always, just 3 guys in a basement talking sports. Thanks for joining us, as always. Hopefully we see you next week. Peace out, everybody.